Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Game Major, and this is a review of the Tier 7 American tech tree battleship Uss Kansas, part of the new alternative tech tree which is now fully researchable in-game. This is a Tier 7 and legendary game of domination hotspot on the MT. We have Shimikaze, Charles Tower, Cleveland, Alaska, Snop in a division with a Kansas, then we have Richelieu, Yamato. So there's one random Tier 6 in the mix on the enemy team. Spawn on the left, so gonna see what we can do on the left flank. I'm spawned alongside a Cleveland and a Hippo, which isn't too bad. So, USS Kansas, she's a post-World War I design for a standard American battleship. However, nothing really ever came directly from the design, but the design was used as a basis for future designs, things like the Colorado and stuff. Now, she is represented in game A as if she was built, and B if she had a 1942 refit in the same line as the USS Tennessee and the USS California, with the additional torpedo bulging and improved anti-aircraft complement. So, in comparison to the tech tree Tier 7 battleships, she has a average base HP of 67,000. She has a an average HP pool as well of 95,056. Oh, we lost sight of the Charles Metal there. And she has the second best torpedo reduction of 40%. Now, when it comes to the armour, it's always best to go back to the board and take a look at the armour scheme there. So, back in the port, taking a look at the arm scheme. Starting off with the superstructure, big harvestable area in the centre of the ship, covered in 19mm plating, which means that this ship will probably be susceptible to HE spam. And you can see it does cover quite a lot of that centre. And considering that this ship is going to be slow, it's going to be very easy for her to be picked on and have that area harvested quite quickly. Moving on to the torpedo bulge, it's big. It covers a lot of the ship. Yep, I have to zoom out to show it all. It goes pretty much all the way up to the bows, and a tiny bit of the bow which it isn't covered by that torpedo bulge, and it goes practically all the way back to the stern. So that torpedo reduction, you're able to take advantage of it on a lot of this ship. Removing that to give a better idea of the armoured belts. Starting on the bow and the stern, practically 32mm sides, 32mm deck, so that is capable of ricocheting 16-inch shells, and it might be able to ricochet. I think it can ricochet the Georgia as well, so only really the Yamato which is going to be overmatching that, which is good news, I guess. So quite a survivable ship. Taking those away, let's start off with the upper armoured belt, or the auxiliary room. 32mm sides, 32mm deck. 16-inch guns are able to be ricocheted off that, so again that's good news. It means you can angle against 16-inch guns. Taking that away, moving on to the casement armour, I guess you say, which is your lower armoured belt. This is very thick armour and capable of ricocheting pretty much anything and everything, and it's also got a very thick deck as well, 89mm mostly all over. The ends as well are very nicely armoured, so can't really complain about that. Turrets and barbettes, nice thick armour going all the way down. Again, nothing to really complain about. These turrets are quite survivable, it would appear, and therefore it's only really down to RNG which when it comes to knocking them out. Going on to the Citadel. The Citadel is below the water. You can see there's a good little distance there between the top of the Citadel and the waterline. So again, that's a nice hidden Citadel. So it's only really going to be plunging shots where you're probably going to be taking Citadel. So broadside on from range is where you're probably going to suffer. Up close, you should be alright, and keeping it angled and stuff should be quite helpful against anything with a 16-inch gun. So all in all, the Kansas armor scheme seems to be a pretty tough armor scheme. She's a very tough bird, which I guess is needed considering her speed. She's going to be easy to focus on, and so having that ability to actually maybe be a bit more survivable should help. Anyway, let's get back to the game. Well, welcome back. Moving on to the artillery. She's equipped with 12 16-inch guns mounted in 4 treble gun turrets. So we have A turret, B turret super firing up front, and then we have Y turret, X turret super firing at the rear. Now these have the shortest range of 16.6 kilometers, longest reload of 38 seconds, and the joint second slowest turret traverse of 45 seconds per 180 degrees of rotation. When it comes to the shell damages, pretty much average across the board. You're looking at average HE shell damage, average AP shell damage, and average fire chance. When it comes to the DPMs, you have the third best HE DPM, second best fires per minute, and an average AP DPM. On to manoeuvrability, as you probably come to expect with the majority of this alternative tech tree line, she is the slowest for her tier, only doing a top speed of 25 knots. Furthermore, is the Snop looking at me? Snops might not be looking at me, so I might just be able to quickly flick it out, switch to the Kansas, quickly chuck a volley out in the Kansas, because the Snop's just fired on our hipper. I should be able to then tuck it back in. Yep, okie dokie. So, she has got the best turning circle of 700 meters, which is quite nice, and she does have a better than average rudder shift of 15.7 seconds. Concealment wise, she has got the best detectability by sea, which is 14.9 kilometers. She also has the best detectability by air, which is in the region of 12 kilometers, and also average detectability when firing smoke, which is in the region of 14.4 kilometers. When it comes to the consumables, obviously she comes with 3 repair parties. These will heal 334 HP per second for 28 seconds, which means that each repair party will return about 9,352 HP. Now this has a 80-second reload, as you come to expect. Damage control party, it's the standard American damage control party, 20-second duration and an 80-second reload. Let's see whether we can finish off the Snop. Very nice. And then we'll have to start working over the Kansas, I think, which has her guns trained the other way, so I might be able to kite in towards her rather than away from her. Now, with the other consumables, you can either have 3 number catapult fighters, 3 number spotter aircraft, 3 number enhanced secondary targeting, or you can have 1 number defensive AA fire. She does have good AA because she is in that kind of like 1942 refit, but I think only 1 defensive AA consumable. If it was 2, I could understand it, but just 1 seems a little bit on the stingy side. It's something that I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually buff in future and make it 2. It's very much like with the Duke of York. When she first came out, she only came with 1 sonar, which eventually became 2 in time. So yeah, I think there's no guarantee, but I kind of feel that she needs that being tweaked up a little bit, I guess you could say. I'm going to start turning my turrets to port and heading over towards the Charlie objective, because I don't think the Kansas has got too long to live. And there's only a destroyer down there, and I'm not exactly the best suited ship to hunt a destroyer when we've got an Alaska and the Cleveland still kicking around. So as always, down in the description will be the commander build that I've used. It's my typical speed build, so I've got, I think it's Dewey, reason being is because he gives me Velocious, and then I was inspired with Bruce Fraser and Guépratte. So what that has done with a common battle booster is it has got my top speed up from 25 knots to about 28.5 knots, which is almost on par with, say, like a King George V class battleship. So I feel that getting that speed up, for the first time I actually feel like I'm playing a ship with a manageable speed. Now, modules wise, I've taken AA Guns Module 2, simply because she does have a good AA suite, and the other options I don't really feel are worthwhile. Propulsion Module 2, she has good steering already, and I find the propulsion is quite nice, especially for, as you've seen, when I'm doing that like stop-start, moving away from enemy ships. I've also taken Target Acquisition Systems Module 1, it's the compulsory mod in that third slot, and for the last one I've taken Artillery Plotting Room Module 2, which obviously improves the dispersion of the guns, and as you see for my chosen consumer I've taken the Spotter aircraft. What's left in the empty? Also we've got the Shimakaze, which is down to the south of B, we also have an Alaska, a Richelieu and double Yamato. Oh goody. Can we maybe help with getting rid of the Shimakaze? Just going to do a quick stagger shot and see if we get any hits, but she looks like she's dodging away already. Oh well. Oh, and there goes our Baltimore. That's not good. Rightio. So looks like I'm going to be trying to make a crossfire on the northern side of the map in comparison to our ships which are located in B. At least that's my intention. Richelieu's quite slow. I mean, I'm undetected at the moment, so I might see if I can just hook it a bit round a bit more and see if I can get Richelieu a bit more broadside, really. Yeah, okay, we've got a Yamato in B, which is good. Okay, that looks like it's broadside enough. So, launch the spotter aircraft. And take my time and then fire. Yeah, even though it's funny French armour, we've been able to do a bit of damage. And now, fingers crossed, we should have a nice crossfire between our Yamato and me. It's just which one are they probably going to shoot, and I think the answer is going to be me.
Spotter returning to ship.
Richelieu was definitely rotating her turrets last time I spotted her. Might see if we can go for those cheeks in the Yamato. I'm going to have to lead a lot more than that, aren't I?
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
That's a 15-inch gun from the Richelieu, which is now broadside onto our Yamato.
Main turret critically
And
damaged.
even their Yamato is coming broadside onto our Yamato.
Torpedoes direct front.
And there's the Shimakaze torpedoes. So that looks like it's going to be a wrap, because it's probably only going to take like 2 of these to kill me. There's 1, there's 2.
Taking on water quickly.
Oh, the joys of legendary tier. Whether or not the guns will reload in time for me to be able to maybe get the cheeks of the Yamato, I don't know. Probably not. Here comes the Yamato shots. There we go. Well, that seems to be the general experience that we are getting at the moment with the Kansas. I think it's just my luck. I mean, in general, when I've had a good game in the Kansas, it has been a good game for the Kansas. But the matchmaking just seems to be, at the moment, a little bit cruel. But it could all be my bad luck, or maybe I'm not quite playing it right, you never know. Anyway, until the end, we'll have a little bit of Colonel Bogey's March. well, that's the end of the game. It's not much of a damage burden, let's be honest. Only 78,000 damage, 50 hits on target, so probably not really expecting to come high on the table. And still made 4th, and still made best battleship on my team. This seems to be what's happening. Like, I'm not having great games, but I'm still doing better than every other battleship on my team, and I still can't work out why. But it keeps happening, so I can't really complain about that, I guess you could say. Ironically, I know I always joke that the team with the most Yamatos and Shimikazes wins, but ironically that actually is the case. The enemy team had 2 Yamatos and Shimikaze, whereas we only had 2 Yamatos, therefore based on that you could say the enemy team is going to win. Obviously that's just me being a... It's my bad joke for legendary tier, I guess you could say, but ironically it actually happened this time. Economy wise, walking away with a total profit of 39,000 credits thanks to a rare credit booster and a premium account. Otherwise would have made a loss. Ship service cost in this case 153,000 credits. That seems a little high. I know that the standard should be 136 plus or minus, well, plus 10%. Or up to 10%, so it does seem to be a little bit on the high side in this case, but at least we managed to still walk away with a profit. I guess we can be thankful for that, can't we? Anyway, that is the Kansas. I can't, at the moment, having played her for a bit, I can't fault the ship. I just seem to get stuck on teams which haven't allowed me to fully realise the potential of the Kansas. So I feel like at the moment it's too early to judge on the Kansas. I mean, she feels like she is a good ship, but yeah, I just haven't been able to get those high damage games. I think my highest damage game's probably been about 110, so it's not exactly that high. I'm not that far off from it. I'm sure other people are going to do a lot better. Battleships definitely aren't my forte, I have to confess. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Down in the description is the link to Patreon and the email address, along with the commander build and the ship modules used during this review. The email address is there so you can send in your own game captures for the Monday Spotlight video. And until next time, I'm the Guépratte Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major. Bumpity, 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 bump. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down. I guess this is the life. Now, hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major.